Hey, welcome to Almost Irish Podcast. I'm Dan Barry.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dennis Rooney.
Mick Thomas here. How are you? Should we call the Almost Didn't Make It podcast?
Yeah, fuck me. What a day. What a fucking day. I wake up, so I'm in my living room watching the Shawshank Redemption because
it's on all the time.
It's on all the time.
Never miss a shank.
Nope, never miss a shank. And Brooks just died. And I'm like, oh, what a sad scene if I had seen it the first time. But instead, I'm just on my phone, just looking at shit. And I'm like, what is that fucking smell? And so I have, whatever, real long story short, electrical socket shorted out. So I'm melting plastic and ruined 2 electrical sockets. So I had to replace one and then realize like, oh shit, there's another one. And I had to go outside, and then that's a GFI switch, which is it's a whole thing altogether, boys. And I had to replace that one. So it was me going back and forth to Ace Hardware this morning. Otherwise, my house might have burned down.
Do you have any electrical background, Dan Barry?
I've been working. My whole family works in carpentry and construction, so we know enough to burn down houses.
That's so you could change out a GFI outlet.
Yeah, it's really not hard.
I don't even know what a GFI outlet is.
You know, that's
it's like standard for homes now. You kind of, if you don't have GFI outlets, you're not doing too well.
You know the outlet by your sink that has that button that says reset and test?
You're not doing well.
Mick looks like a lady. I can't hold it in any longer. Look at his hair. It's so long and flowing.
I look like a lady?
You look like a lady, Mick.
You've become what you hate.
Yeah. Damn you, universe.
Mick looks more and more like a witch every episode.
Yeah.
Gnarly nose.
He's gonna cast a hex on us any minute now because we're in his beautifully red forehead.
So you were able to swap it out though. All is well in the house.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you replace one and you just like the sign of an electrical fire is like burning plastic. So once you smell it, you're like, ah, shit. And you're like, the beginning of it was like almost 10, 15 minutes of trying to figure out where is that fucking smell coming from. Yeah. So I literally went through my entire house. It's like, normally you go to like my washing machine was running. So it's like, was it my washing machine? Am I melting like a spoon or some shit? Like, is there something in there that shouldn't be in there? And
I'm like, a washing machine would melt a spoon?
No, but like plastic, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like when you melt plastic, like in the dishwasher, like, so the only thing that was running was the washing machine. So I'm like, is there something plastic? Like, you know, like whatever, like a utensil.
You
like
put spoons in your pockets too? I'm sorry. I'm wildly interested in that choice you made. Like maybe there's a spoon melting in the washing machine. It's like, that's your first thought. It's like, I can't say how many times I've left the spoon in my pocket.
I can't tell you how many times I've been watching Shawshank Redemption and been like, not the fucking spoon. And I have to go and get it out. Oh, a nightmare.
You're reading a bowl of cereal. You have the moment of realization.
I better keep this plastic spoon, put it in my pocket, and never take it out. Just, you know, goes to the washing machine. It's a whole nightmare. But anyway, it wasn't in there. And then I'm like, it's in my gym. Like, why is my gym smell like burning plastic? I have like nothing plugged into my gym. So the way this is real fucking boring. Guys, this is why people tune in, is to talk about Dan Barry's home.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this fucking, you know.
It's not funny. It's not,
you know, what I was gonna get into when you said that is like, I am impressed of your level of manliness to fix stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I can do drawers, maybe a door, and I can mow the lawn, and that's it. Like,
yeah, if Mick smells burning plastic, he just moves his family out of the house.
That's all right. We had a good run.
All I kept thinking when Dan texted us he was having a house issue, I said, well, I hope it's a hilarious issue we can discuss.
No, it's me replacing electrical outlets and then testing to make sure they work. And it's a lot of like walking back and forth from the outlet to like turn it on, turn it off. So I had to call my uncle who has like a lot of electrical equipment too, to like really just be like, all right, we got to test these outlets, figure out what's broken. So what you do is you test to see if it has enough volts coming out of it. So one was like 121, which is where it should be. And then the one directly next to it was at 24. And I'm like, oh.
You're still talking to an idiot though. Like that, none of that means anything to me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna punch down for you. Like I'm just gonna
no. But you're not punching up either. Like you're just talking. Like you're talking about something that, like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like you said, like, I treat, if I had problems, I treat it like a haunted house. I'm like, all right, everybody, pack your shit. We're moving out now. There's a ghost upstairs. This is the same thing as the washing machine.
Who smells like burning plastic and for some reason is making the carbon monoxide alarm go off. I don't know what it is. We better get out of here.
He's a mischievous fella.
I put one too many spoons through that washing machine. This house is wrapped. It's no good anymore.
Rooney, how would you rank your manhood based on that stuff? On
Pretty good, surprisingly good, but still not as good as I'd like to be. Like, I could change it. I have a little bit of a electrical background. I know super basic carpentry. I can hang a TV or something like that. Like, I know how to use anchors in a wall and shit.
Yeah.
All right.
But I still, like, if you make me do it for someone else, I'm just profusely sweating with anxiety the whole time. You know what I mean? If it's for me, I don't care.
Mick, I can tell you right now, I see his bookshelf behind him and I feel fine. I see your put against the wall brick background. I'm positive it's gonna fall on you one day. Like, I'm positive.
One episode, it's just
gonna all come crashing down.
It's not even like, I remember like the one time I felt see, here's the thing, like, I have fighting, right? I have fighting and I'm good in bed. And that's the only thing that makes me feel manly. But like, if I didn't have those two things, I'd be like, I'm shit. Because when I worked with Bank of America, they were very big into Habitat for Humanity. And we would go like, me and these fat tellers would go to these like building sites where they're building houses for poor people, and we would hang drywall. And you knew the guys who were doing construction were like, well, these people just go home so we can rip down all the shit and start again.
Great
like,
photo
we were in the
guys.
way.
Get the fuck off the construction site.
This is before like social media blew up. So if social media was a thing, we would have went, just hung up the drywall, taken her picture, and then left for the day. And then the guys were like, all right, well, we're 7 hours behind now, guys. Calling their wives and kids. No, Daddy won't be home. Daddy, like, because he just stood there all day.
Yeah, no, we had to make sure that the bank manager took a picture next to a drywall that he was holding up with his hand because he didn't know how to nail it in. Like, we have to make sure this is what's happening. My family, like, of my brothers, like, I definitely am not the manly, like, work at home guy. Like, I'm very much the person. I don't mow my lawn. I have a landscaper because I just don't want to do it. Like, that's me. So like, there's like lines to like my manliness, and it comes boiled down to like, what tools do I have in my house, and then what tools are within close proximity, and then that's it. After that, it's I'm calling an expert.
Plus,
go ahead.
I feel like certain things in your house, it's kind of cool to be like, I built that or I put that together, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to like lawn maintenance, it's like, they're going to do a much nicer job than you do. You know what I mean? Like, even if you do mow your lawn to save a couple bucks, it's like, it's not going to look as nice as like the perfectly manicured lawns around you.
My buddy John is he lives like a half hour from here, and he's talking to me, he's like, yeah, I gotta like put mulch down, I gotta like plant some arborvitaes. I'm like, go on Facebook Marketplace, find someone for $200 who will do all of that for you, and stay home and do nothing. And he's like, yeah, but like, isn't it like a waste of money? I'm like, I mean, you could do it, or you could just watch TV. Like, the job will get done better by somebody who knows what they're doing. You're just like a dude trying to
you're putting $200 in somebody's pocket. Like, that dude is on Facebook Marketplace hustling. It's not like this is some fat cat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 boys in my house, and my older brother. This is almost like the reverse of the 3 bears. My older brother is phenomenal at everything, like building all that kind of stuff, right? And then I'm the guy in the middle that I'll do the bare necessities. But then my younger brother, like, doesn't even like mowing the lawn, that he paid for a company to come in and crush the lawn and just put in AstroTurf. Like, he goes, like, I don't even want real grass anymore.
Yeah. I want this to look like the worst backyard in the world.
Yeah. At least I'll try, because like my son, like, he's big into Lego, so he bought this huge Star Wars ship. I go, wouldn't it be cool if I hung that from the ceiling? So I go get cat cut. You can call it a fishing line here. Yeah. So I get all that stuff right, and I hang. But I knew the day was bad when I said to my son, I went, and this is not, I'm not bullshitting. I went to my son and go, hey, go get your mother's toolbox.
Is it like a pink toolbox? Because I've seen those, like a lady's.
No, it is a carry one,
like a bag.
Yeah, it is
You're a
kind of
target.
yeah, and it's got like like a screwdriver with a few changeable heads, a
Yeah.
little hammer that you'd used for breaking eggs, probably. I don't
It's a
know.
homeowner's toolkit. It's a
Right?
homeowner's
Yeah, yeah,
toolkit. That's
like a
all it is.
level, a measuring tape, whatever. But like just very, very basic.
I have one of
shit.
those.
But
I have
yeah,
one.
but when I said go get your mother's toolbox,
Yeah,
it was
you're
like,
not a man. I want to
yeah,
point
yeah,
that
yeah.
out.
And I said it out loud to my son too, which obviously that's going to fuck up the dynamic of his life now.
Well, I know who
He's gonna
not
be
to
repeating
rule.
that story on a therapist's couch one day. And then my father turned to me and he said, "Get your mother's toolbox." And that's when my balls dropped that day because someone's had to.
But like that comes, I think I don't know if it's like a growing up poor thing or if it's like growing up with people who like work with their hands thing. But like you didn't call, like I didn't call a fire department when I smelled burning plastic, even though it's like there's probably a fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you think about it that way, it's like I could have called the fire department and like somebody could have come in and been like, look at this fucking idiot. Like, but I don't want to bother them. I'm like, no, I think I can handle this myself. It's because you assume there's a charge for everything you want fixed.
I didn't want to bother them, but I know drop and roll. That's fine.
Yeah, look, if the house is on fire, like I just let it burn and cash in the insurance. Like that's it. Like that's what I'd be doing. And let me call 911 in like a half hour and see how it goes. Like if it's burning real slow, you're like, man.
I want to get corporate about this though, since we are discussing your home foible this morning. What time were you watching Shawshank?
Why you broke?
Where you said?
Why did you say that RoboCop who fell in water?
You're like, what time? Oh,
What time are you watching Shawshank? Like, what time did you smell this?
I was like, probably 10:30.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you believe him, Mick?
Yeah, I do. I
know me and Mick are thinking the same thing right now. We were ready at when we said we were going to be ready.
For me, I got to come all the way downstairs to the basement, and I sit there and I set up, and all of a sudden, hey guys, noon. I go, all right, fair enough. And I go upstairs, and then I'm sitting down, like, and I come back down. I sit for noon. It's like, hey guys, I'm going to need more time. I'm like, motherfucker, like I'm free all day today. I did say that, but I don't want to be sitting around waiting. You know what I mean? Like for a train,
going somewhere in the rain. Like, did you have a plan? Like, you went upstairs and you just described it like you had to drive across town. Like that's how you went up and down a flight of stairs. Not even like a massive flight of stairs. It's 10 feet of stairs. You don't have a 14-foot basement. You have a 10-foot basement. So it really isn't.
For the record, I'm completely on Mick's side. All right, I understand. Yeah. What did I do for the past hour and a half? I sat around, smoked weed, and played video games. But guess what? Couldn't enjoy it that much because I'm like, What are we doing this goddamn? When are we gonna get going? I woke up, I set an alarm, I made the coffee, I got high for the show, and then I had to get re-high again, and then high a third time to actually start the show.
Yeah, I just had to replace electrics in my house so it didn't burn down. You're right. You guys had it real hard. I'm sorry. I did that to you. If any of you want to learn how to do what I'm doing, which is just recording the Zoom session, you're more than welcome to try and give it a go. That's another.
Just try to be considerate next time your house almost burns down. All right,
I'll do my best. I will.
You know.
I mean, Dan, I'm starting to question your commitment to this show. I mean, your house is burning down, your relatives are dying. I mean, get your shit together.
Yeah, bro, what's going on over there?
Hey, can you come over and help us? Grandpa's. I would. I have a podcast 30 people listen to, so I really need to get to that. That's important for me.
Well, now
that's a high estimate, by the way. I don't know that we have 30 people.
Anybody do any shows this weekend?
What did I do? I did Lori Palmentary and Friends at McGuire's on Friday.
Sounds like the worst porn ever.
That would be a terrible name for porn. Lori Palmentary. It is not.
And Friends.
And Friends. Yeah. Lori Palmentary is the first name, and Friends is the last name. It was good. It wasn't remarkable, though. It was just great to see a lot of people. I saw Sean Donnelly there. I hadn't seen him in a while. We had a good little pop in. DC Benny popped in. It was nice.
Oh, nice.
The people got a great show. I know that much. What about you guys? Were you anywhere over the weekend?
We found out we weren't Lori Palmentary's friends.
Yeah.
Pretty much how this weekend.
I was like, all right. I text her Saturday. I go, hey man, which is yesterday. I go, can I pop down and do 10 minutes? And she goes, the show was last night. I was like, goes to show where I am on your priority list. But I did a show the other night at a private event at a country club, and I just hated it.
Yeah.
I detest rich people.
Yep.
Like you cannot commute. Like when I pull into the parking lot and saw like cars you don't see on TV. They're like that exclusive. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a quote or something like, fuck, what is it like? I think there was Maseratis in the fucking driveway and stuff. I think there's a quote saying something like, they don't advertise Maserati on TV because people who drive them don't watch TV. Right, it was one of those cool sayings, but like, and like I'm backing my Honda Civic in right next to these spaceships, and it was just it was like there's no connection with your material and the audience in any. Like I was even doing the bit that it's relatively new. It's about flying first class. What I did with Dan. And it, I'm not going to get into the bit, but kind of like it's ironic. I ironically become a snob, basically how I felt better than everybody because I'm flying first class. And as I'm doing the joke, and that's what makes it so funny because everybody knows like I'm just a normal guy, man of the people type thing. And then I'm now all of a sudden
with his wife's tool bag.
With his wife's tool bag that his son had to carry for him.
It's heavy,
But like all of a sudden when I'm doing like that's what makes the joke funny, right? That all of a sudden now I'm the snob. But then when I'm telling all these rich people sitting there like, yeah, and like that's what happens. Like we are better than like there's such a disconnect. And I felt and I was on it with Dan Natterman, and like I talked to Dan afterwards, and Dan was like, yeah, I had a hard time as well. Like it was I just can't connect with that level of like richness.
They have not always, but yeah, I totally know what you mean. And the worst is sometimes you go to these country club or private gigs or whatever, and they're like annoyed at your presence.
Oh yeah, I interrupted like so many conversations.
Yeah, and it's like you asked for me to be here.
Right,
you paid for me to be here. This is not a surprise. You know what I mean? You could have hired a million. You could have had a ton of different options. You know what I mean? And you chose stand-up comedy. So
right.
Like, give it a go, give it a shot, give it a chance at least.
I had a lot of, I flew a lot for life, and I get put in first class fairly regularly, but it's wearing like sweatpants, a fanny pack, and like whatever hoodie I got for free from something I did. Yeah. And I'm sitting
up, you got a black eye from wrestling.
Yeah, I'm all fucked up. I'm like, I'm sitting next to people who are like super, like they're wearing like the suit that's like the bespoke shirt and everything else, and I'm like sitting directly next to them, and you could just tell they're like this motherfucker. Like they have no concept of who I am, but they think like, what is this piece of shit doing next to me?
Yeah,
like, this contest winner.
Yeah. Look at this guy. Like, what's he, a Make-A-Wish man? Like, get the fuck out of here.
They're really giving out the free upgrades too much these days. This airline is going into the trash.
That's like, it's one of my favorite things. Like, I'll be in the Sky Club and people just like staring, like, what the fuck are you doing in the Sky Club? It's like, hanging out, enjoying the free eggs.
Really good. But it's just that whole like divide, man, of like some people who forgot what it was or never was once down in your level. You know what I mean? Like I would just do these random jokes and it would look at you like, yeah, this is normal. Like, this is normal for us. What are you talking about? Like you even make one joke about their wealth and it's like, they're like not even offended by it. They're like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're like smug.
Oh,
you were in dungarees in the country club. You don't get to talk about us.
Yeah, no, I was in a suit. Like I was in a fucking suit. Like, and it was just dog shit. I had another experience. Dan, you were with me on Wednesday. We had like probably the worst show.
Oh yeah, I did. Horrific.
Really? What happened?
It was like tables of not even hecklers, but tables of people just shouting abuse at the stage.
That bad?
Oh yeah.
Well, you were interrupting their good night by having your stand-up thing.
But they came for that. Like they know that's came. What was there.
They knew it was coming. And then their whole thing was to like there are people that they were there to laugh and they had a good time. But realistically, the people were there to there were a lot of people there who were just like, hey, fuck you. Like that's their whole bit. That's what they
Right.
want to do. They're there to be, counter to you. That's really
They
all.
essentially want the clown sitting above the water tank to yell abuse. Like they just
Yeah.
want to yell shit at you on
Yeah,
stage.
Remember
high and dry
gangs?
am I now.
Remember Gangs of New York when Bill the Butcher takes DiCaprio's character to the play to see Lincoln, and they just start throwing food and fruit at the stage. You know what I mean? Down with the what was it called? The reunion. Down with the union, and they start
Yeah.
throwing shit at him. That's what. Honestly, if they could have done that, they would have. And I was like, that's 2 shitty shows in a row. I was like, fuck, dude. It was just like, you know what I mean? It's like
Brutal.
you need. Yeah, it was horrible.
That's
Horrible.
great. I've done your show now like 3 times, and it's always been solid.
Yeah, this was an outlier, right?
Was
like
it
it is
Danbury?
like, from what I understand, it was an outlier show. So, but yeah, no, it was a fucking nightmare. Like I went up and tried to do like the easy stuff too to like bring them back, and they were like, "Oh, fuck you! Like we don't."
Yeah, there was no getting, like, everybody cut their time short. Like even I did, and I never do that. I
Yeah.
just was supposed to like a minimum of 35, and then I just went. I was like maybe 25 in, and went, fuck you people, and just
But, so Nick Tellelli was on the show, and Nick, he's like, there's this thing that like comedians do where it's like, okay, you watch someone do real poorly, and you go, all right, like that person doesn't have confidence, they do whatever. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna do better, and then they go up and eat shit, and it's like this kind of like compounding of like, well, no, they're just not doing this properly, and like everyone has like their
Everyone
own, like,
thinks they're going to be the one to crack.
yeah,
the
they're like,
crowd.
I'll turn this around, and like sometimes you do, but even like Mick went up, and it was literally like if a head of cabbage had hit him in the head, it would have been like perfect. like
That could be construed as a hate crime, probably, if someone threw cabbage at Mick on
Yeah,
stage.
I believe that. I believe
Yeah.
it absolutely. I'd be upset. I would.
cabbage
I
is
would.
for the pigs, and just throw it.
Yeah, it was just So it's like you kind of need a good cleanser of a show. I mean, my next show is not till like fucking next Wednesday again when I'm back there. You know.
Oh,
and it's-
really?
Yeah.
We got to get you on stage, Mick. I was going to say, it's starting to, I'm finally like the calendar's filling up. It's starting to feel a little bit like old times, a little bit.
Yeah, my calendar's filling up with good stuff, but still, it was like just the last 2 was like fuck.
Mine's
Just-
May 8th for Soul Joel in Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and I'm terrified I'm gonna eat shit. You have to get back
Hazleton?
up on stage. You get back up on the horse. What's that?
Hazleton, Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
What's the name of the
it's a
place?
private. I think it's a private or a fundraiser or something like that.
Oh, okay. You're going to do fine.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been telling that to comics a lot recently. Like a lot of comics are nervous about shows.
We
and
said
I'm
it
just
to
like,
you.
You're going to be great. You're going to be so good. Don't worry about it.
We said that to you when you came back.
Yeah.
And you were.
But I was doing it. I was doing it to make you guys feel better.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
So-
I'm headlining McGuire's this Saturday, and I'm excited about it.
Can't wait for you to invite me.
You didn't even need an invite. It's 10 minutes from your fucking house. Show up.
All right, I will. I didn't want to take your time. That's all.
I bet if you just show up, they'll put you up.
Probably. I say that as an asterisk, as if there might be somebody else there that they're going to put up in front of me, which is probably also true. But
I'm gonna protest if you do.
I'd never say anything, but no more Dan Barry. He was on my last show on Wednesday, and the fucking thing tanked.
It was going great till Dan went up.
And everything went downhill. Oh, when did he go up? First.
It's like the car didn't get out of the driveway, and we were just already done. The journey was over.
You know, it's such a bad show when like you feel bad that they're feeding you because you're like, I don't deserve this food. I heard my set. I don't deserve the pizza that's coming my way. I need to like give it.
Yeah, I
back.
wanted to leave, but then I realized I was going last. I was like, oh fuck yeah, I got to do this shit still. And then on the what
But-
was in?
I haven't felt that way, Dan, where I like feel so bad that like that I did bad and like they're being nice to me, and I'm like, oh, don't even look at me. Like I feel disgusted with myself almost. But a lot of the times, if I don't do well and they're being nice to me, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is their fault. Like you need to run a better room. You know what I mean?
So they want to leave. They want you to leave on a high note because they're never going to have you back.
the fake niceness that like we'll never see him again. Let's just get him out the door.
Let's give him a pat on the back. There's two. The other one is like I think when you do a real bad show, and none of the comedians talk to you after your set, and you're like, oh, that was a real bad one. Like that's kind of how Wednesday was. I did one with Anthony DiDomenico in Jersey, and I'm not gonna say the headliner's name, but like they did not like him. I think he's normally pretty funny, but they did not like him. And when he got off stage, we're like, I mean, do we talk to him? Like, you can't be like, hey, good set, because it's like, you ate shit. You know you ate shit. I'm not gonna make you feel better about it.
I've gone up to people after they walk off stage after a bomb. If I know them, you know what I mean? I'll just be like, what the fuck was that? Because like you can't, it is kind of like the funniest way to be like addressing the elephant in the room, and also being like, it's funny that you didn't do it. Like, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, we all don't do well. If someone trashes me when I get off stage, no matter how well I did, I instantly feel better. Because I'm like, at least they were watching. Like, at least they were paying attention, you know?
The worst was when we were leaving on Wednesday, there was a group of people by the door, and they were like, man, you guys were great, man. You know, you like really kind of like feeling sorry for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, just keep your chin up. You'll get them next time. Shut up, man. You're not making this better.
One time I was opening for a pretty big name comedian, and he
like letters wise or status?
Yeah,
both. His name
both.
Okay. I thought it was like some Greek guy. But
like packed room. It's a 2-person show though. Like I'm doing like 25 at the top, and then they're supposed to do an hour, but they did like 45 minutes. And I had to go back up. They told me, they're like, you need to go up and do more time. Like, we have food coming out still. But like, this is the type of person where like, you don't go, first of all, I already went up. You know what I mean? Like, I already gave them my A shit. And the show is over. Like, everyone in the room knows the show is over. People are standing up, putting on their jackets. And I go out and I'm just like, so did everyone find parking? Like, here's some funny parking jokes. And people are like looking at me as they're putting on their jacket. Like, why is this guy like, doesn't he know that a huge name just like the show's over? The guy we paid to see has left, and therefore we are leaving. And then other people are sitting there like, well, how can the show be over? Because I still have like food coming to me. So they're like,
oh shit.
But it's just anarchy. Like, imagine 40% of the room sticking around and the other 60% just leaving. And it looks like I said like some awfuler version of the N-word where like everyone's like, I'm out of here. You know, it looks like I'm walking the room so horribly. And but I did start to get some people in the audience who realized that I was being put in a position, and they're like, no, ha ha. But it just felt so bad because I'm like, you guys are nice, but you're not laughing at my shit. You know what I mean?
This is your aunt who came to your soccer game and you've been benched the whole time, and you come into the game for a little bit and she's cheering, even though she knows you are barely even playing at this point.
Yeah.
It's 20-0 other team. This is it. You're in for sympathy.
He's wearing a Rooney jersey.
Ooh, that's my Dennis. That's my nephew Dennis.
He can turn this game around. It's like, no, he can't. The game's over.
The worst bomb I think I had, and it still haunts me to this day, is I get a phone call from a comedy club, and this story is so horrific I don't even want to mention the club. And they call me up and they go, hey, this guy wants to book you for a private gig, and I go, fine, I'll do it. And I go to this fancy this is years and years ago, this really fancy hotel, right? And I go down suited up, everything, and the guy books me, goes, you're looking for Mike. And I go, all right. So I get there, and all of a sudden, so the guy who booked me, he goes, yeah, apparently he came to this club, he saw you, he loved you, and he wants to book you for this private event. I go, perfect, fine. Decent money, really nice money. And then he goes, so then I get to the bar and I see the guy. I'm like, oh, okay, I remember him because he talked to me after the show for a while. Like, now it makes sense. So he goes, yeah, you're going to go up, I'll bring you up. And it's like, perfect. So I go, so apparently there's like a 70-something-year-old guy's birthday party. And I'm sitting at the table with Mike, and it's just me and Mike and this round table that seats about 10. Everybody else, like about 400 people, all in their seats at 10. It's just me and Mike and this round table. Food is arriving, salad, the usual shit. And
drinks. Napkins, forks,
Yeah. No spoons, though.
No spoons. No. You don't want to bring those home.
So all of a sudden, like, then they'd like to have a DJ and MC, everything. So now up on the stage are these gifts, like, right? Like unbelievable gifts. So, and the DJ is coming up and he's like, all right. And then this guy here, I mean, the guy was getting gifts. Like, he was getting a Ferrari for 9 months. Like, apparently that's a thing. You can rent a Ferrari for 9 months as a gift. Right. Yeah. Like, so you drive around in these cars and stuff. That's one of the things at the Oscars they give people in those goodie bags. Like, hey, drive my Ferrari for 9 months, 9 6 months, 90 days, and then whatever it is. And then what it is, like people see them in that car and it's like free advertising, but like, so on and so forth. So the guy was getting cruises, he was getting golf trips. So then the guy came up and goes, and now we have this crewing machine, whatever. It was like a big, massive fucking espresso machine, like thousands of dollars worth of an espresso machine. So then the guy, Mike, gets up and he goes up to the stage and he goes, so Dad. And as soon as he said that, the old guy goes, I told you not to call me that. And he goes, there's no better gift than the gift of laughter. And I went, oh my God, I'm a gift. Oh my God, no. So
Richard Pryor and toy.
Like you're supposed to do like half an hour. So I go up and I go, yeah, give him a round of, the generic stuff. Give him a round of applause. Happy birthday. Of course, they're going to applaud that. And then I turn around immediately after I gave him all his praise. I turn around and I go, hey guys, the first time I've ever happened to follow a crewing machine, whatever it's called. And then the old guy goes, yeah, so make me a coffee or go shit in your hat. And I go, anyway. So I go into like this opening joke and like the response was just him going, oh, Jesus. The old guy like out loud. He was and then I looked over at Mike and he's like, so I go, oh, happy birthday. And I walk off and I sit down and I look at Mike and go, Mike, what the fuck was that? And then he goes, listen, my wife's gone to get the cake. She has the money. She'll pay you when she gets back. I'm like, fuck, Mike. So I go on my way at the bar. All of a sudden, these like Wall Street guys come out. Hey! So to tell me the story, apparently she was his daughter, the old guy's daughter, was married to this fucking Wall Street broker guy. And this guy, Mike, like works at like a Jiffy Lube or something. And she had an affair with him, got her pregnant. So now the old man just hates this guy that hired me.
Oh
I'm just sitting there like I'm just sitting there
like there was. So not only was it ambush comedy is what we call that, where comedy happens where people don't expect it to happen. But also like you could have, no matter what the gift this guy gave his father.
Oh yeah.
Father's gonna shit all over it.
He hated it. And the fact that he called him dad.
Yeah. And I was like, I told you not to call me. I thought he was joking. Like I could have wheeled out a 25-year-old Angelina Jolie, and I still would have been booed.
This guy really thought you were going to save his relationship with his stepfather, though. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like he had full confidence.
My father-in-law. Yeah, no, yeah.
It was a horrific bomb. And then, like, the frat boy Wall Street guys to come out afterwards because I couldn't leave because I was waiting for this chick to come with my money. And if it was like a few $100, I'd be like, just fucking mail it to me or donate it to charity. Yeah. Like, but I needed that fucking money. And it was a lot, too. I was like, fuck, I got to sit around waiting for this bitch to come
she
back.
paid for it, too. Like, he didn't pay for it.
Oh, of course not. Not on a Jiffy Lube salary.
This guy must be swinging serious dick if he's pulling that kind of tail out of Jiffy Lube.
Right,
well,
man.
I mean, he is, lame pipe.
Hey.
Is he, though? A Jiffy Lube?
Look, man. Really changing oil.
Mostly changing oil. But sometimes you have to change, fluid.
Brake fluid, maybe, on a good day.
Tranny.
Wiper fluid.
You're not allowed to say that anymore.
Ba-bum, ba-bum.
You're not allowed to say that anymore. So yeah, that's well, we kind of.
I had bomb stories, but yours is better, so that's it. I'm not introducing my bomb story now. Yours is way better.
I told a joke and you didn't laugh at it.
Yeah, yours, you like partially deserved yours because like I'm sure at some point the gifts were coming, and like as much as you're like I shouldn't be here, you're like, yeah, I'm a good enough gift.
No.
You had a moment. Mick Thomas had the moment where he went, yeah, like I'm on par with these. Like,
I swear to God, I didn't know until he said there's no better gift than the gift of laughter. So then I did, and that's when I went, oh fuck, I'm the gift. That's when
that'd be great if you were his permanent comedian. Like you heckle people when they talk to me. Like, that's all he wants.
He brings me to board meetings just to yell at people.
You can drive this Ferrari for 9 months, and Mick Thomas will drive around with you for those 9 months and just yell at people who drive aggressively.
Make fun of pedestrians while you drive as a 75-year-old man in a Ferrari.
Yeah, I think I'm more angry than a 75-year-old man.
For fuck's sake. That's the third time I heard that. It's getting hacked now.
The worst gig I did by far, and I'll name names because it was so fucking bad, was
Lori Palmentary and Friends.
Yeah, Lori Palmentary and Friends 2 nights ago. What a shit show. No, World Resort Casino in Queens.
Oh yeah.
And if you've never been, don't go. But this is the layout. You walk in, you take the escalator upstairs to the casino floor, you step out onto the floor, and it's a casino. Lots of lights and loud noises, ding, 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 everywhere for hundreds of yards in every direction. And in the center of it all is a circular bar with a huge TV screen, like movie theater size screen above it showing multiple sports, right? They decided it would be a good idea to do stand-up comedy in front of the TV, essentially, in the middle of this casino floor, not in a showroom in any way. So there's you're just playing out of the casino floor. I did it once and it was terrible, but it was just like yelling into the void. And I could yell into the void for 20 minutes to make $300. You know what I mean? I need the money. I did it once and I said I could yell into the void. They asked me to come back. I said, sure, no problem. This time there was a woman, a large, old black woman who from the moment I got up just began, boo, you stink. This is bad. Like, not even clever shit, just like blanket statements of like, you're not good at this. Why are you up there?
Like she's reading cue cards.
Yeah.
Or your resume.
Real, not even a passionate delivery. Just like she's going over
Get
her
off, fatty.
Dennis, more like Dennis Booney.
I can't believe you've chosen to spend your time doing this.
Oh my God.
I got and I don't get worked up with like a bomb or even with getting heckled and stuff. Like I know how to handle myself. But the void was yelling back now. And it was like really bad for 20 minutes to the point where I got off stage and I immediately started walking over to her. And I could see security walking towards me, walking towards her. And like, I'm just white hot rage. You know what I mean? And I get up to her and security's like 10 feet away. And I just go, I hope you have a nice night. And I just turned around and walked away. And I was like, just so like shaking with rage. And I think it might've been one of the last shows they did there.
Did you become racist after that? That's too long of a pause.
Leaning into racism because of this lady. I wonder if a person can make someone so upset that I don't know. No, I was not, and I continue to not be racist on the Bible.
What did you mean? Someone can get so upset. Finish that.
No, I'm saying if so, like where you annoy someone or get them so angry that they decide to commit themselves, like, you know what? I'm taking this out on the entire race of people that I think you represent. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you just fucked over a whole race of people.
You can do that, and like there's the proof of that is what I always say is like when I have this debate with people about like you know like you look at, we'll take black and white, right? Because everyone assumes racism is black and white when it could go into any direction. Like I know people from India who have said some of the most racist shit about other people. It's like, how come that's never highlighted? But when I go into like a discussion with somebody, right, about especially what's going on with black versus white, and they always say about black people, like, well, you need to get over it now, right? It's been so many, you know what I mean? Like they talk about that, like they'll talk about how slavery has affected the communities and that kind of stuff. And people go, well, you need to get over it, right? And I can always sit back and go, listen, like the Irish still feel that way about the English. Do you know what I mean? So I do like, when you look at anger and pain, now do I have English friends and do I fucking dislike them? No, of course not. But it took me a long time because I was brought up with that. Let's all hate the British mentality for what they did. So again, I'm not saying like I understand like where black people's hate comes from, but they go like, yeah, it was only a few hundred years ago. Yeah, but that's still kind of like that's still relatively new for them not to trust people. You know what I mean? To hold a grudge.
Still relatively new, and I think a lot of people would say we're still feeling some of those negative effects, maybe.
Oh, that's very CNN of you, Rooney. But
Mick wouldn't say
no,
that.
I'm being sarcastic to a point where, like, yeah, it's not that long ago, and racism is still real bad, and due to in large part of slavery. You know what I mean? Like these people were stripped from knowing their heritage and shit.
Right.
Like,
well, I'm coming at it from the angle of, how people say like that. Well, black people just need to get over it. You know what I mean? And then I was like, maybe a part of me would be on that side, right? And go like, yeah, come on, man. Let's like, cause I don't treat any people with any ill
How very
will,
Fox News of you.
right? I don't treat people with ill will. You know what I mean? But like, having said that, like, I do get the idea of, you know what I mean, holding on to that grudge. Like my sister, who has never dealt with hatred toward, like I did. Like I remember like British guards crossing into fucking Belfast, and like I've seen all that shit being called paddy, which is like a racist term for an Irish person in England, right? And I've seen that. So and like so I can understand. Like I should understand more than my sister, but my younger sister just fucking hates the British. Like just hates them for like whatever reason, like, because based on history. You know what I mean? But so then like the same people in turn are like, well, you can't, you know, black people shouldn't be allowed to feel this way anymore. Like, yeah, it's not that long ago. It's not that long ago when this shit happened.
It's not that long ago, and people don't get to dictate how entire races of people get to feel about things. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you stay in your lane. You worry about your own shit. You don't get to go like, who's the police of feelings now? You know what I mean?
Right. And then you put on like, even from the Irish point of view, it's like, I'm over this. And then you watch Braveheart. You're like, wait a minute.
Stir up all those emotions again.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like, yeah, you get all angry again. You paint your face blue and you just, you know.
Yeah. I was on a date one time with a girl years ago, and the movie 12 Years a Slave was in theaters at the time. And she was like, oh, I really want to see that. And I said, I don't really want to see it. I feel like I've seen that movie. It's been made before. And she just goes, that sounded so racist. And I was like, did it really? And like from that, there's been a lot of movies that come out where I'm like, I'm not really interested in going to see it. Like I kind of know the story. You know what I mean? I could probably figure out what's going to happen. I've seen this movie before, but keep making them. They're making money. People want to see them. I'm not going to be the guy who's like, they need to stop making stories about black people being minimized in society. And it's like, no, I think people still want to see that movie, so keep making it. But like,
the story is good, man. Like I watched the 12 Years a Slave is the one time in my life I've experienced where the movie is way better than the book.
You read the book,
and it's a real good movie. It's a real good movie.
Yeah,
I'm not counting it's a good movie.
It's
but
a
like,
true story, though. Like it's a true story. Do you know what I mean? But like when you read the book, you're like, boring.
Couldn't have been
I mean,
8 Years a
when
Slave.
you read the book, you're like, boring.
And like, maybe
it's the
I'll
same
see
story. Now a girl's a racist.
Oh, come on. Yeah, when are they going to make that movie where they're like racist white women? Like that'd be a good one.
They have it. There's several of them.
Which one? Was it?
No, it's not.
Did you say Clueless?
Yeah.
Well,
There's a black chick in Clueless.
yeah.
If anything, that movie's classist.
Yeah,
Not
it
racist.
is very classist.
Yeah. What's the racist white lady movie?
What's it called? That's the one with Emma Stone where she's doing biographies on like the housekeepers in the South.
Oh, The Help or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see
I don't see any
actually
movies
did see
involving
that one. I
race.
didn't see all of it. I watched parts of it. 12 Years a Slave, much better.
I heard Brad Pitt makes a little cameo.
Oh, he does a great cameo in that. Great
Well,
Is he in
cameo.
blackface?
Yeah, I couldn't believe he did it. He did.
He could probably get away with it. Probably one of the only people who can get away with it.
Him and RDJ. When we played golf in Myrtle Beach, legitimately, that's what I was staring at some of those weeping willows. Like, yeah, I'm on the set of 12 Years a Slave. Like, I generally feel like this is exactly what this is. Like,
Racism and weeping willows just go hand in hand. I don't know why it's such a backdrop to racism.
If you a rocking chair, honestly, weeping willow, that's it. And then calling something a plantation also didn't help. But you know,
Sweet tea feels oddly racist.
yeah.
Like even one of the opening scenes to again, I've read the book and watched the movie, but like the movie's great. Interview the Vampire. And that opening scene in New Orleans, and you see those weeping willows in the house, like, oh my God, it's a beautiful cut the slaves. It's like, oh God damn it. Can we just have a beautiful?
It's like, you know what's coming. It's like, no, it's about vampires. It's like slaves.
that's where the sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite come from. That from the weeping willow.
What do you mean?
Because the British used to take those leaves, those branches down and sleep on them, but they were covered in bugs. And the British would sleep on those, good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. That's where
Is
it
this
comes
true,
from.
or is this like something your dad told you? A reason why to hate the British? They're covered in bed bugs.
Because that's American. That's American history.
Here's what they did.
That's American history. So my dad wasn't up on that at all. But yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, bed bugs, weeping willows. I don't know. Slow news week. It feels like, huh?
I mean, it's not, but it's full of like we don't want to go down that road. To be honest with you, I'm not touching any of it at all. Like in the slightest. I'm like, no, let it go. Fuck it. Like I'm not. Nope, I don't give a shit. I talked about it on my podcast, Cheaper Than Therapy, about 420, and about because like everything happened that day, right? Like that was when the results came out from that. Everything. A lot of shit happened on 420, but I was talking about like how it loses that now that weed is legal, it loses that strength of like, hey man, I'm rebellious, like I'm rebelling, man, like I've got a hat with a weed symbol on it. Now it's just like it might as well just be gum, you know what I mean, because it's legal.
Yeah, it's they say that the legalization actually makes teenagers usage drop like drastically.
I believe that. I absolutely believe. Like, there's no like all those rap songs that you listen to, like smoke weed every day, like Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre had the Chronic. Now it's like what the album? Like, it's just about gum. It's about soda.
Lame. I hope it becomes lame to smoke weed, and I'm just gonna be a lame person. People are like, oh, look at that guy.
It's not even that it comes lame. It just becomes not like rebellious or cool.
Yeah.
Like me and Dan walked here. Like, this is funny the way Dan. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. So this is the what I got from our interaction. We didn't really finish it. Me and Dan were walking to that gig on Wednesday. Yeah. We pulled into the parking lot at the same time, and there's these young kids. I guess some black, some Hispanic, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
So you go with this,
right? But the one kid in front of us was smoking weed, and I kind of took a hard left away from him. Right. And Dan was like, were you kind of worried like something was going to happen there? And I was like, no. The stink. I hate the smell of weed. And Dan thought I was walking like, stay away from those fellas.
It was very like, he suddenly was like walking very hard left. And I was like, hey, what do you think? Are you going to think they're going to do something? Like they're just smoking weed and walking. He's like, no, I just hate the smell. I'm like, oh yeah, I get that. I understand.
It was like even when Rooney was smoking in South Carolina on the golf course. Like I had to step away from being downwind of it because it just smells awful.
You just don't want to be downwind from it. It smells like a skunk. I never knew I smelled pot before I ever smelled a skunk. And then I was like, it actually smells like a skunk.
Right. Yeah. Hence the name, right?
I used to smoke weed in high school, and I smoked until I was like 22, maybe 23. I really didn't smoke very long, but like I remember in high school, like the people in high school were like, ooh, like you're a fucking dirtbag. Like,
wait, you went from high school to you were 23, and then you were like, not that long. I mean, were you really slow in school, or was it just that's a long time?
Smoked weed from high school till 23. I know you have a hard time following along, but that's the trajectory of how that story went.
Yeah, but that's about almost 10 years though. That's a long enough time.
No, like 16 to 23. It's like 16. I imagine 15, 16 is when I was. So
I don't think it's that long. I agree with you. High school and college. If you framed it like that, it's like, oh, that's not. Yeah, I smoked weed in high school.
I didn't go to college, so I was like 25. So it's a little different.
But all my friends were in high school and college. That's when I smoked.
Yeah. But I smoked weed, and like all the kids in high school be like, oh, what a fucking dirtbag. Like that was like a big like, oh, like only dirtbags smoke weed. But then it's like now they all sell like CBD and pyramid schemes, and you're like, come on.
I remember definitely some of the smart kids or some of the more like fast tracked towards success kids would be like I'd see them at parties and they'd be drinking and like we'd smoke and they'd be like, dude, that is wow, I can't believe you're smoking pot, blah blah blah. And then like cut to 3 years later when everyone comes back from college and hangs out and they're like, I don't know how to roll a joint. Can anyone roll a joint? I'm like, you're a fucking loser, yo. You fucking
yeah. You're
roll up
fucking Birkenstocks. Fuck yourself.
Anthony Bourdain said rolling a joint is one of life's essential skills, like making an omelet, and I agree with that.
Look, when I did smoke weed, it was fine. But once I stopped smoking weed, it became like I don't do it anymore. And then once I stopped smoking weed, people were like, oh, like why don't you? It's like I don't know. Like I had a girl that was trying to. I think we were like kind of talking as if we would date. And she's like, do you smoke weed? I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't. I'm like, I don't care that you do, but I just don't do it. She's like, why don't you do it? I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's like a view of escape. Like you kind of escape real life to be high. Like that's kind of like how I treated it. and I don't want to do that anymore. And she was, that's not what it is. She got like real mad at me. I'm like, well, this isn't gonna work. Like, you're very angry for somebody who's a stoner. I would appreciate it if you would dial that shit back.
Well, you're not going to be Mrs. Barry.
Yeah.
She felt so attacked by that. What did you say, Mick?
So, well, she's not going to be Mrs. Barry.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that's-
no.
I was like, well, how dare you get upset with my only opinion on marijuana being I don't want to smoke it. Like, it's not really.
I would never get like that aggressive for someone who doesn't smoke weed, but I do when someone's like, I've never tried and I never will, I'm like, I mean, all right, but that seems like you only get one shot at life. I'm not saying you should try everything, but like it seems pretty safe to give it a shot once and see how you know.
No, I don't want to ruin my life. It's like, is that what's going to ruin your life? Like,
Yeah,
if marijuana is the one thing that triggered the end of your life, like your life was standing at the edge of a fucking cliff at that point.
Yeah.
There's no reason marijuana, oh, it's a gateway drug. Like, no. There's gateway personalities. Like, there are people who are like, I really want to do everything and fuck up everything. Like, those are things that happen. Marijuana is not exactly.
Yeah,
Like all the people who are against it, like 90% of them smoked weed when they were younger. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
I'm not against it. I never was. Like, I never tried it in my life, and I just like, but I'm still not against it. I'm like, fuck it, dude. It's not hurting anybody. Who gives a shit apart from the smell?
Yeah, I won't do mushrooms. Like, I won't. That's not true. I won't do acid. I won't do acid. I'm very like, I don't want to do it. And it's like, but I'm not gonna. If somebody goes like, I'm gonna do acids, I'm gonna be like, how could you? I don't give a fuck. Like,
That intrigues me more than weed, though. Like, I like the mind altering shit, the idea of it, because I've never done acid. But that to me sounds way more fun than just getting mellow and high.
Me and Mick are gonna take mushrooms on a beach one day and talk about British and how they're not so different than you and I.
I wanted to try some of that, but like it was never like I was on the road and kind of like look, I'm on the road, man. I got shows to do. I don't know how long it's gonna last and how it's gonna affect me. I don't want to get behind the wheel. Like dude, my mind's like locked up for a reason, and I think like if I go in there in the like what Rooney said, let's go to a beach, you're like, fine, I'll sit on a beach with Rooney and I'll do it, but my day's got to be fucking clear for that shit though.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should. I would never propose anyone have stuff to do that day or like you know what I mean. I'm for
Disney.
Usage.
I'm saying Disney, guys. Disney on mushrooms is way cooler than Disney without mushrooms.
Yeah, I just don't want to like, you know, about
Rudy's
the
like
I just don't like want to go pick my kids up from school and all of a sudden I'm dropping acid like I'm Jim Morrison going to the desert.
I think if you microdosed acid, the worst thing that would happen is that you'd become tolerant, and I think that maybe that should start happening. Open up your fucking mind, and it's just like, you know what? Women are people too. Like that's where your mind would go.
Yeah.
He doesn't really believe like this, guys. It's an exaggeration. This is gonna turn into a thing where people are like, oh, Mick fucking hates all women. No, it's a joke.
You know, I got shit on Twitter. Speaking of the women thing, is when I think it was American Airlines said it. They put a tweet up, and they said 50% in the next 10 years, 50% of our pilots will be women and people of color. And I said, I tweeted back something like, "Oh, that's good. When I'm dying a fiery ball, then at least I'll know I was woke."
I mean, I want to tear apart your argument, but I'm going to leave it alone.
What do you mean tear apart? It's not an argument. There's no argument to that.
No, but your point is missing what the statement was. But I'm going to leave it alone.
No, I know what it meant, Dan. It was that's why it was. I only tweet jokes. I never tweet, "Hey guys, here's my opinion."
I love when Dan Barry's corporate mind and his comedic mind have to wrestle with each other.
Yeah. I'm like, but we don't know, because you know what it is though, is that you get the people like, oh, you're not gonna hire white people. It's like, oh, that's not what they fucking said. Jesus goddamn Christ! Like you have to kind of like the part of me that gets like real mad. It's like I don't want to fucking deal with it. Like I want to like scream, because why wouldn't I? And I'm sober now, so it's a lot easier to scream when I'm sober.
Right, but the point of that joke is it's not like you know, American Airlines go like, "Hey guys, we need someone to take the 1005 from New York to LA. Hey Willie, put down that mop. You want to fly?" I don't like it. That's
why is her name Willie?
What?
Why is her name Willie?
Oh, you never saw?
I know, I'm being stupid.
I was gonna make the Indiana Jones joke. That was the female's name in the second Indiana Jones.
No, but they also said women and people of color. So that could have been Willie. Could have been from any kind of race.
No, I know. It was all right. I like to play stupid sometimes, but sometimes people just think I'm stupid. It's my cross to bear.
And ours, apparently.
Yes, apparently so.
And it's
All right,
1:30, so we gotta wrap up.
get going, though. We gotta wrap up.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Hey, listen to this podcast and nobody else's. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
listen to our podcast.
Check out Cheaper Than Therapy. It's my other
Yeah.
podcast. And starting
Okay.
this next week, I have a bonus episode every week or every other week where I interview fighters or people of from boxing backgrounds and stuff. So and it's only available on YouTube, not on Anchor or any of that shit. It's only available on the YouTube channel. So subscribe to that. And I'm at McGuire's May 1st and May 21st and 22nd. I am headlining Mohegan Sun Wisecrackers in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Check out Netflix Book Club, my other podcast, where every week we watch a movie that's on Netflix and then we talk about it. I'm going to be doing Training Day comedy show outdoors in Astoria Park on Cinco de Mayo. It's a Wednesday. It's an outdoor show. It's a lot of fun. It's safe.
Cinco de Mayo's on Monday this year.
What is it?
No, it's not. It's on a Wednesday.
It's on a
And
Wednesday.
check that out Monday, Wednesday, whenever you want to go to Astoria Park. Yeah, that's it for me. Dan.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Oh, I was thinking of tax day.